What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. We have a very interesting phone from Kyocera. Now, I haven't had a Kyocera phone in like 100 years, I'll be honest with you. I think the last time I had a Kyocera phone was when I had a little flip phone, and it was probably like 1998 or 99 or maybe even 2000, but they're still alive. They still make smartphones, and this smartphone is like crazy interesting, especially if you work in a rugged type business. Now, the phone is called the DuraForce Ultra 5G. It goes for about $900 on Verizon. Obviously, you can maybe get it for less or pay for it over payments. I'll link it down below if you want to pick it up. And we're gonna jump into the specs first on this phone. But this phone is crazy. It's got tons of customizations. Very, very interesting phone. All right, so here's the specs real quick. It has a 4,500 milliamp non-removable battery, USB Type-C charging. It does have wireless charging as well. So if you want to wirelessly charge your phone, you can. So it's got that built right into it, which is cool. The screen on here is a 5.45 inch IPS LCD display with sapphire shield display. The resolution is full HD plus, 16:9 aspect ratio. You also have a Snapdragon 765G with 5G. 128 gigabyte storage with 6 gigabytes of RAM. It also has micro SD card expansion, so if you want to add more storage, you're able to. Android 10. Cameras on the back, you get a 24 megapixel, 16 megapixel as well. And then the other, so two cameras on the back there. And one of the cameras will be an ultra wide, and that's the 16 megapixel. Front camera is 8 megapixel. Cameras on the back up to 4K 30 video, on the front up to 1440p video. It does have ultra wideband, so if you want to go the fastest 5G that Verizon has to offer, this phone is compatible with it. And then lastly, what comes inside the box? Obviously you get your phone, and then you get a USB-C cord and a charger. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this phone is like super durable. How durable? Military standard 810H. Waterproof. I didn't say water resistant, I said waterproof. It's dust proof as well, and the sapphire shield. The other thing about this phone, it can withstand drops onto concrete from 1.5 meters. So it's very, very durable phone. So if you're looking for a durable phone, this might be a safe bet for you. Now, taking a look at this phone, it looks like there's a case on it when you look at it, but there's not. That's actually the housing for the phone. This is what the phone looks like. It's a very durable. All the plugs are closed up. You can, on the right-hand side here, you get a power button that acts as a fingerprint sensor. You have right here, which is going to be where you can access your micro SIM card, your SIM card, I should say, and also your micro SD card. And you don't need anything to pop it out. You can literally pull it out with your finger, which is really handy. You have a programmable button down here. By default, it's set to open up the camera. You have the charging port, which you can open up right there. Fairly easy. It's USB-C. You can wirelessly charge on the back here. On the left side, you have a push to talk button. So if you have Verizon's, ability to kind of use their walkie-talkie feature, this will do it, and it does it over 5G, or you can program this button to do something else. You have actual volume up and volume down. And then you also have, up here, you have a port for your headphone jack. So if you're a headphone jack fan, there's a port for that. And then you have like this SOS button. Again, you can program it to whatever you want. The other cool thing about this phone, all the buttons are tactile, meaning they stick out, you can push them in. They're not, just buttons that are just sitting on top of your screen. You can literally press and push all the buttons. Taking a closer look at the housing as well, you can see it really protects, it's almost like a case. It really protects this phone a lot. All right, so let's take a closer look at the DuraForce Ultra 5G. So this is the software on top of it. So just basic Android for the most part with some customizations. When you swipe over to the left, you can see that you have all your Google Feed stuff. Very convenient. I love the Google Feed. Then you have your home screens. You have your app drawer, which you can search for apps. You can come in here and change the order of your apps if you want. And when you look at all your apps, it just goes up and down. You can have folders in there as well. And just to show you what apps come pre-installed, I only installed a few apps on here, but you can see it creates a Google folder for you, which is convenient, an outdoor folder for you, which has a barometer, compass, and weather app. Has some Verizon apps like the Call Filter, the Cloud, Digital Secure, Message Plus, and My Verizon. So let me make sure or check if these are able to be uninstalled, and it looks like they're not. And then beyond that, you have a calculator, calendar, camera, clock. You have your Office Suite app. Let me check if this is able to be uninstalled. No, it doesn't look like you can uninstall that either. I can probably just, yeah, I can just disable it, unfortunately, but you can't uninstall it. Other than that, there's not really that many apps installed. Everything else, it was either put on here by me or as a Google app or as an app that you need. So the amount of apps that are pre-installed is actually not that bad. This is what your notifications and quick toggles look like. Here's, just basic notifications, just like you would do with any Android phone. If you want to get rid of the notification, just swipe it away. Here's your quick toggles down here. And again, just basic Android stuff the way you see them. You can customize them if you want. Click and drag them up or remove them. If I don't want a hotspot here, I'll just click and drag it down. And I'm good to go. Here's your settings. Settings, like I said, has some pretty good customizations on here. So you have your basic ones. You have advanced calling. If you want to activate your Wi-Fi calling, it has that built into it. Display, you can mess around with the brightness, the adaptive brightness, night lights, wallpapers, dark themes. So I have it on dark mode right now. That's why you see that. Pocket mode reduces the chance of unintended activation of the touchscreen. So you can turn that on. Change your font sizes, display quick settings in notifications panel. You can turn that on and off. Here's your sounds. Programmable buttons on here, like I said, and it tells you where each button is. You got your SOS key at the top. You have your push to talk button right here. You have your camera button at the bottom there. And the way those work, so if I want, for instance, I have the push to talk key. What happens when I press and hold it? It turns my flashlight on. That's the way I have it set up. And then I can turn it on and off that way. Or I can go back in there and I can change that to basically whatever I want. So I can come in here, push the talk button, I can choose it, and then I can maybe I want to go home with that button, or I want to install the push to talk app if I want to use it that way, or I can open up Google Calendar. I can really make it do pretty much anything. And you can do that with all of these, like my SOS button at the top. If I press and hold it, it opens up my Google Assistant app. And with my camera button, I should say, I can press and hold that, and it will open up my camera app. So very convenient. I like that they have so many buttons to choose from and super customizable. Going back to the main screen of settings, you have battery, you have storage, so you can come in here and mess with your storage settings if need be. You have your accounts, you have your accessibility, digital well-being, Google, system updates, and that is, you have gestures as well, so you can turn on gestures if you want. If you don't like these three buttons, you can use the gestures where you swipe up and hold and all that. And that's pretty much the software as a whole in terms of the way it looks. Very simplistic, very clean for the most part. So I like that feature of it. And then just going around it, it doesn't have like a 120 hertz display or 90 hertz display, but generally, again, just using this has been pretty good. It's pretty snappy as a phone overall. I like that. The 765G, I've used that processor on some Pixel phones and LG phones, and it's, again, pretty snappy as a processor. Even though it's kind of like a mid-tier processor, it's not that bad at all. Let's load up a website here. We'll load up the incomparable Android Police just to give you a look at how well websites look and act on here. Here you go. Works. It's a pretty snappy phone for the most part. I've been pleasantly surprised with how well it is. 6 gigabytes of RAM isn't a ton of RAM, but not that bad, you guys, in terms of that. So let's open up a game next. I downloaded Crash on here. I'm going to turn the volume off just so I don't get any copyright stuff here, and hit play. Crash Bandicoot, and you'll see that it runs absolutely fine without a hiccup. And the 765G, for the most part, is a really good performing processor on the mid-level in terms of being able to handle different games and things like that, and just simple task, it's going to do very, very, very well. And you can see this is absolutely no problem for it at all. This definitely does better than one of those, cheap $100 tablets that you can get. And this is not a $100 tablet. Obviously, it's a $900 phone, but it handles everything really, really well for the most part. Some other things I wanted to talk about. The screen isn't like super bright. If I turn it all the way up, yeah, it gets pretty bright. But at a mid-level, for me, it's a little bit too dim. For you, it might be fine, but I think the sweet spot for this phone, if you're using it, is probably going to be at that 75 to 100% for bright screen. It's not an ultra bright screen. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the weight of the phone. In case you're worried, it weighs 9.81 ounces or 278 grams. So it is a little bit heavy. I'm kind of used to holding a Galaxy S21 Ultra, and they feel pretty similar in the hand. This does have some heft to it, but overall it's not that bad. And if you wanted to, you could always throw like a pop socket or something on the back to make it a little bit more comfortable to hold. Next, let's check out some videos on here. The screen, just looking at the colors, they're pretty flat looking. They're not very vibrant. If you like flat colored display colors, colors that aren't gonna like pop your head off, you might be fine with this. I would like it to be a little bit more vibrant for my own taste. But let's check out, for instance, this one. As you can see right here, my broken Galaxy Z Fold 2. Now this is episode 4. If you want to watch those other episodes, I will link them down below. But what they generally cover, I'll break it down in case you don't want to watch the rest of those episodes. Speakers aren't that bad. I broke my phone. I was walking. Speakers aren't that bad, actually. They're not amazing. They're not the loudest speakers. They're kind of sitting somewhere in the middle. Bass is okay. I'd give them just an average score for speakers. Again, not the worst, definitely not the best. And also the display, as you can see, I've just been turning it here, has good viewing angles. Obviously, I can make it brighter if I wanted to. Again, kind of average display, a little bit below. Obviously, this phone is not just for like durable uses. You can actually take photos with it. And you got your camera right there, and then you have your cameras on the back as well. When we launch the camera, let's press that button just to launch the camera. You have a bunch of features in here. I'll just run through them real quick. You have time lapse if you want to do a time lapse photo. You have slow motion, which you can go up to 120 frames per second, do video. And on the back, again, you get up to 4K 30 frames. Photos, and you can switch between ultra wide or the main camera. You get portrait mode. Portrait mode only works on the back camera, not the front. Night mode, panorama, and then you got more. And under more, you can they have effects videos, pro video, pro photo, effect photo, Google Lens, underwater, because this is a waterproof phone, and action delay. So there's a lot of features for this phone, for the camera. Let me open that up real quick again, one more time. And then you can see a lot of the stuff will stay the same on the front, but some of the features don't work. As you see, like I can't switch. It switched automatically when it went to slow motion to the back cameras because the front camera doesn't have that feature. Same thing when I go to portrait, you'll see there's no way for me to get to the front camera for it. So let me go. I'm going to take some photos and videos, and we can check that out. All right, here we go with the back camera. I'm talking, I'm walking. This is the ultra wide video. So you can see my hand is pretty close, and it's got ultra wide right there. Let me switch it to the other camera now. All right, I'm back to walking and talking. You're going to be able to see how good the stabilization was on the ultra wide and the main camera as well. I'm going to pan. There you go. Here's a little sample video on the front facing camera. Remember, it's 1080p on the front. You can go up to 1440p, but it does it at a 4:3 aspect ratio. If you want it 16:9, you'll have to stick with 1080p, but this is what it looks like. Let me know if you like the way it looks and sounds. All right, so who is this phone for? Obviously, I think they're molding this phone after people that are in, like a firefighter or like a first responder of some sort, maybe somebody that's gonna potentially drop their phone a lot, a person that needs to have good water resistance and waterproofing, a person that just needs a heavy duty phone. This is going to be great for you. It works well for the most part. It's got a lot of features. I like the buttons on the side here that are tactile but also programmable. That's great. The software and the overall responsiveness of everything is pretty good. I don't really have any issues with that. I did see some reviews on Verizon, the website, saying people having issues with the software, it being buggy. I haven't run into that issue with this phone. The fingerprint sensor, I should have mentioned, I don't love it. It's okay. Sometimes it gets me. You have to push it down in order for it to work. It does have the face unlock as well, so I can unlock it with my face, and that works generally pretty good. I think the other use case for this outside of first responders is somebody that is very clumsy with their phone but wants a smartphone and needs these tactile buttons, because these tactile buttons seems to be sometimes going the way of the dinosaur and going away. I can see this being a big help for them. So maybe like an older person, someone that's new to smartphones, I think this would be a good phone for them overall. I mean, the cameras, it takes okay photos and okay videos. The screen gets bright enough for them to see. It is a little bit heavy, but I think first responders and people that are new to smartphones or people that need something heavy duty, this is great for you. Thanks for watching. If you want to pick it up, I'll link it down below. We'll see you guys down the road.